Republican Congressman Gabe Evans is taking a victory lap for $200 million in federal funding for health care in Colorado after voting for the Republican budget that cuts $1 or $2 billion in Medicaid funding in Colorado. Our Marshall Zellinger looks at the math.
If this were the metro area, the building you're looking at would have multiple stories of glass windows and not be confused for a small high school. Lincoln Community Hospital in Hugo is less shiny than big city hospitals.
80% of our rural hospitals don't have a sustainable margin. So our facilities across the state are all in trouble.
Josh Hannes is the VP of Rural Policy and Strategy for the Colorado Hospital Association, and rural hospitals are set to benefit from $200 million in federal funding each year for the next 5 years.
I'd say there's many areas of the state that need that money first.
The fact that we got $203 million is really a pleasant surprise, and we are delighted.
Kim Bimsteffer is the head of Colorado's Department of Healthcare Policy. Last week, every state found out just how many hundreds of millions of federal dollars it would receive for rural health care, and Colorado's portion put the state right in the middle of the money handed out. Are you concerned that it won't show up given the president's retribution tour of Colorado?
I am not concerned that this money will not show up.
The hospitals that will benefit from this money are hospitals like San Luis Valley Health in Conejos County, Weisbrod Health in Eads, and Southeast Colorado Hospital in Springfield. The $200 million each year for 5 years is even touted by Republican Congressman Gabe Evans with this social media post. But it fails to account for the Medicaid dollars the state will lose from changes made by Congress in last year's budget bill.
That bill every year will hit us with $1 to $2.5 billion in reductions.
So the math appears to be $200 million new dollars for rural hospitals, but $1 billion or more fewer dollars statewide.
We're glad it's coming, certainly, but it's nowhere near enough to fill those holes.
Hannes has concerns for how the state will use the new dollars it was just awarded. The state's application mentioned regionalizing services in rural areas where the closest care may already be 50 or more miles away.
When you create a program that is dictated in a centralized way, that's not going to be successful, and we don't have any confidence that it can be.
When I asked the state about that criticism of centralizing certain rural health care instead of letting the locals decide what's best, the short answer I got was affordability, making changes to make limited dollars pay for more. And while the state and rural hospitals seem to be happy with the hundreds of millions of dollars, it's how that money may be spent that both sides may not be in agreement with.
And we're going to be talking a lot about this, Marshall, because the state legislators come back to the Capitol to start their session here in about 9 days. And the cost of health care and how to fund it in Colorado is going to be front and center.
Yeah, when we talk about the budget and budget cuts at the state level, this is the part of the pie that is the biggest. And I think I'm outdated with this. I think at least half of the money that lawmakers can play with goes to health care. And when you have to fund the other half of what the pie is, schools, corrections, all those other things. Like at some point, healthcare is going to get cut from the state level. And we're talking about how it was cut at the federal level. Money's not going to be there for a while. And that's going to be the biggest thing that we talk about is healthcare funding in this state.
All right. That conversation will continue. Marshall Zellinger, thank you.